So, Dr. Bansal, now I would request you to tell us that how is this book different from other self-help books which are already available, and how will it help the readers to deal with daily challenges of the life?
Yes, it's important. It's very important. See, most of the self-help groups books are written by persons from their own experience. I mean, I cannot override that. I cannot devalue that. That's also of use. But those book which is having pure scientific base, they are more good. Because scientific base means this is proved, that is evidence based. It's nothing like forming concept or my own philosophy or my own imposition sort of thing. Nothing like that. But as far as the other self-help book is concerned, there are few the self-help groups are more of related with their own experience rather than based on the scientific data. My book is purely based on the scientific data. So I have put my 52 years of experience in addition to, I would say, 100,000 years of experience collectively of that of neuroscientists and psychologists and philosophers, right? So in that way, I'll say that this book is different and it's going to be a useful reading. Yeah, I have very deeply remained in concern that the flow is very good as far as the book is concerned, and it should be meaningful. Carry home should be good, but at the same time, if you are going to take this book along with the figures, the tables, or certain algorithms, then surely this the data becomes more useful. You know it. I have written in this book also as to the memory is concerned. One single reading is concerned, or the single reading and writing is concerned, or single reading and vision is concerned, and the single reading vision as well discussion is concerned, and single reading vision over and above discussion teaching is concerned. The grasp as for the memory is concerned is totally different. So the best is when we are going to discuss it with somebody else, because one can discuss at random only when one has known the subject to its depth. So that is the best, rather than only just sitting coolly exhausted by the end of the day from your activity of daily livings or your daily commitment. You will find little difficulty in concept making or imprinting it in the right way. Because as the memory is concerned, undoubtedly, even if it's a good memory with good attention concentration, one reading is going to make the memory good as far as 30-40% is concerned. If there's a too good reading, it's going to be somewhere 80%. Because this is based on the scientific data, and persons who are having some scientific background will find more interesting, because they know that this is like this. Of course, even those persons, it's not that deep science which I am talking about. This is the science, somebody know about what is gravity and so something like attachment, detachment. So all those things which is very clear. Is the light off? Okay. So I was telling you about in which way this book is different from other. So I feel that this book is surely different from other. This is not. I have also gone through certain self-help self-help books. I found it very useful. To be very frank, they are informative. I cannot brush aside their contribution. But add-on in case I see, if we go with a book which is having scientific basis, and a book which is giving you ingredients, is nothing like that. Everything is solved and just served to you, because that one just eats and forget. So this is nothing like that. You have to put little extra efforts to dig out the best to your own self. What is required by you? You want A, you are there is A to Z is available. So someone want B, somebody want L. Also, in that way, they have to just take out that particular thing for one's own use, which the other self-help group is not going to give it to you. They are monotonous. They are going to be fixed that A, B, C, this A is like this, B is like this, C is like this. Book is not like that. It is a scientific book with experience, written openly with open-minded thing. What is what, and you take out what is best for you. You make your own recipe. So in that way, this is little not that direct and not that easy that it's just a spoon feeding. It's not spoon feeding. I never wanted anyone to have a sort of spoon feeding. I being remained as a professor of neurology, so I definitely want that there should be some homework. Even if there's no homework, at least a person, whenever somebody is sitting before me, talking with me, should be fully involved in me. It's not like that that person attention concentration is no good and he's or she's roaming somewhere else. No, that's not desired. So this book needs attention concentration. Very good book, solid book. Yes.
I'm sure, sir, the viewers are definitely going to be benefited by your
Yeah,
book.
yeah, must, yeah. This is what I feel.
So next I wanted to ask you, sir, that you have mentioned about the differences in brain and mind,
Yeah.
which are very, interchangeably used, very casually, like you have said before. So I would like to know, and also for our esteemed readers, that how do brain and mind are different?
Yeah. See, this rather challenged me everywhere. I was giving a small deliberation in Rotary Club, and the elite viewer, this audience asked me, what is the difference between neurologist and psychologist or psychiatrist? So I think so that even very high ups may be sitting on the big chairs may not be knowing all these things, whatsoever you have asked. It's very important. So I always say the four things are four or five things, which is very, very important and purely linked with the brain. Mind doesn't have much part to play in that. Those things are, one is consciousness. So consciousness lies in brain. It does not lie in mind. Second thing is orientation. Orientation to time, place, person. Where I am, who am I, what is the time like? So the time, place, person. This is again a function purely attributed to the brain. Right? So consciousness, orientation. There comes the memory. So the memory is basically a part of the consciousness, part of the brain only, part of the hardware. It is a data acquisition. If there is no data acquisition, where is the mind? If because mind is basically data acquisition, unless there is a data lying over there, what to make, what type of app, what type of system, what type of emotion, what type of reaction, action, what type of philosophy, what type of paths, and what type of making the way or finding the ways to be done. That is all based on the data experience, because memory is very important for that. So memory also lies in the consciousness mind or in the brain. Right? Now you can say, or somebody can always say that why not? Even the memory is going to be affected by the mind. Yes, it is going to be affected, but I'm talking at the raw level. So at the raw level, once the child take birth, so the child is having already written something on the white paper. There is the some sort of reflexes are there. This may be sucking reflex. This may be grasp, group, or some crawling reflex. So that is already written. Who wrote? So that may be the basic memory. Somebody says that these are the innate reflexes. Okay, these are the reflexes, but who wrote it? Where it is written? Where it is written in the body? It is written in the brain only. It's not written in the mind. So brain is concerned with the basic memory, on the basis of which we are going to form more memory. Because memory begets memory. So it's just like fruiting, and then there is a seed and again seed and the tree and fruiting. So like that, I'll say the memory is like that. And memory is attributed purely to the brain, not to the mind. So I told you consciousness, memory, orientation. Okay. And another important thing is the intellect. So without intellect, I don't know whether the other animals, human beings are a type of animals, but whether the other animals are intelligent or not. They do have memory, but for sure. This is what it looks like. But as far as the quantum of intellect is concerned, somehow I'll say it is more in human beings, because I tell you, the whale, which is having the biggest brain as far as the world is concerned, the universe is concerned, it's 7 kg. But as the human brain is concerned, at the birth it is about 700 grams, at which goes 1.5 kg within a span of 4 to 5 years of age. Which part of the brain grows more as far as the human being is concerned? This is the frontal lobe. Now this is the frontal lobe where lies the intelligence. The intelligence, the most important thing. Memory can create something. Yeah, this is something good, this is something bad. Or these are the two things as far as the memory is concerned. What is good, what is bad? What is hygienic, what is not hygienic? What is going to be useful, what is not going to be useful is going to be decided by the intellect. Right? So this is the intellect basically, which along with memory and consciousness and orientation comes to the brain. So brain is linked with that, and the brain is also linked with the insight, because they know that I am here, because this is a part of the consciousness. Awareness also is part of the brain. Now this is also known as cognitive functions. So now the cognitive functions, all putting together, they are linked with the brain only. Now we are coming to the totally different thing as far as the mind is concerned. So this was the brain and this is the mind. Now mind is concerned, the three important things, very important thing. One is behavior. Second is emotion. And third is thinking process. Though thinking process and emotion, they start from the brain on the memory, because without memory there cannot be thought. Without memory there cannot be emotions. There cannot be feelings. So feelings, number of feelings, they form emotion. So as far as the mind is concerned, this is related to the cognitive function, not cognitive, cognitive function. These cognitive functions, they focus on thoughts, emotions, behavior. So this ultimately gets into formation of personality, formation of attitude, mindset, our interpersonal relationship, our interaction as far as the human beings are concerned, our other human beings are concerned, even both living and non-living. We are having a relationship with the non-living also. We are very fond of a diamond ring, a very wonderful diamond ring, because that's what our mind wants, the monkey mind. So it keeps on jumping from one place to another place, because that's the habit of the mind. Whensoever it fulfills one desire, there is more desire. Because all these desires, as well as aspirations and attachment, detachment, gratification, these are all part of emotions. Emotion is a real big picture. We human beings, we are emotional animals. All are emotional animals, but the emotions go heavy. As well as I'll say, if we are going to talk of the dogs, and if there is the which gives 4 or 5 sibs, but after they are independent, they get lost. But as far as the human being is concerned, they are having a living together system, a family system. There are some rank and file. There is mother, father, brother, sisters, or certain other type of relations, second relations, third relations, and there are different type of relations, give and take. There may be situational reaction. Or see, we relate with everyone. I am buying something, some vegetable, so I am temporarily related with that particular person. Right? See, so all these relationship also, because they involve our mind. Right? They of course involve our brain first, because unless a person is conscious, so brain has to work, so the mind cannot work. So this is the big difference between the brain and mind. So that's what I always said, that they are reciprocative to each other. But to begin with, or as far as the supremacy is concerned, I'll say brain is having little high as far as the mind is concerned. But ultimately, mind develops so much thing. They take the data from the conscious mind so much that the conscious mind doesn't want to be taxing to one own self. So that work more like a gatekeeper. So they open the gate in between to have a hello, hi, and the consultation, mutual benefits or symbiotic sort of relationship with the unconscious mind or the semi-conscious mind. But the semi-conscious mind plays. So whatsoever I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to you consciously. I'm talking to you from my unconscious, semi-conscious mind, right? So that's very important. So in that way, I'm aware, I'm vigilant, I'm talking, my body language is also there. This is all my conscious mind. This is all brain. But the mind is working. Mind is working, subconscious mind, my language, my feelings, my body language, everything is my mind. So in that way, both they are working. Both the king as well as the prime minister, they are on the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the book, you have explained the association of brain with emotions and relationships and also the relationship fatigue. So, what do you think would be the impact of artificial intelligence on our emotions and our relationships?
Yeah. There are two different questions actually. What you asked is, one is the relationship and second is the artificial intelligence. So relationship is one of the very important things concerned, and there are so many things, because basically we live for relations, and we live for the warmth of relations. We live for live and let live, not that sort of phenomena. That should be the one of the philosophy of life, but most of the time I'll say the quantum comes in between, as the Albert Einstein said it always, and he's a great man, and I do have a lot of liking for him, his philosophy. It's not only the need, but it's the greed, it is lust, and ultimately it is total smashed. Everything is gone. I mean, there's so much greed, lust, that it ends into the war. It ends into the destruction, and that's what we see. See, simple relationship means attachment. We are attached. We are attached to something more as compared to something else. We are less attached with something else, attached with something more. Let's say the child is attached more to the mother. The child is attached more to the father. Maybe by virtue of the needs, the basic needs, and maybe by virtue of other choices also. The various sort of thing, maybe good toys, or maybe nice garments, or maybe good food, or maybe some going to restaurant, or maybe attending or watching some movies, or having some gadgets or other needs fulfilled. That's not the basic needs, but they are the needs. So there is a more attachment. So it doesn't mean the child is not attached to the peer group, it's not attached to the teachers, are not attached to the certain neighbor, or they are attached. So the detachment continues. So that's what the integral part of the relationship. And that's what is brought forward both by our brain as well as mind, conscious as well as unconscious mind. So in that way, the relationship becomes of immense use, and without a relation, we find ourselves isolated. Now, this isolation is more like a punishment. Now, isolation can be of different types. This can be forced isolation, self-isolation. This is isolation by virtue of some sort of social enigma, some sort of social wrongdoing. We are pushed to the corner and we are isolated. We are not in a relationship, despite of the fact we want the warmth. We want to talk. We want to put our pent-up emotions be out. We want to have different type of relations, maybe some physical relation, which is shortcut. As far as there are three types of relations. Relation doesn't mean human to human. A relationship may be there with the money, maybe with the status. So there are the three type of relationship is rather having shortcut, and those are, one is the sex, and another is the money, and third is the status. So these three things, for that we quickly go, and we just want to grab it at no cost, whether we are worth it or not. That's a different thing. So, and they are never ending relationship. They are always unfulfilled aspiration and relationship. Says there is money, more money is given, more money. But what for? And same is true as far as the relationship is concerned. We don't know. So in realistically, in all the walks of life, I feel this way or that way, 0 or 100, no good. So we have to find the best middle path to our own choice, to our own good living, to our happiness, everlasting happiness. So that's what is wanted. So I will say, between attachment, detachment, find your best. Between inhibition and disinhibition. Why I'll say inhibition? As far as India is concerned, or certain other developed countries concerned, there is so much type of social inhibition. Yeah, you can't do this, this is bad, this is not done, no. So there is a lot of inhibitions. So we good number of situations do not give breathing space to our children, or to maybe our near dears, to the wife, to the husband to the wife, and so many other type of relationship. But as far as the other so-called developed countries are concerned, there is too much disinhibition. So they are allowed to do anything. Gun culture, free gun culture, you kill anyone. So there are some bad thoughts came in. So that may be just transient, but that is executed for no good. It is more like a social abuse. It is not the system where we are working in. So what sort of relationship that is there? So I'll say too much of inhibition, too much of disinhibition is no good. Find the middle path. So that's what is very important as far as the relationship is concerned. In between, I'll say something about the relationship fatigue also. So sometime, as I said, the relationship fatigue means when we are put to isolation or when we are exposed to each other too much. And that's what happened recently in the corona pandemic. You see, people were jam-packed inside the home for not a day, week, or a month, but for years. So the people were working from maybe from the home itself, and this is more like I'll say, in the other way of saying it, it's more like a forced isolation. But this was not a forced isolation. This was more like a forced living together. So, but you see, people were feeling suffocated. There was a relationship fatigue. You know why? Because at the substratum, they are not made for each other. Most of the time, I feel, as far as this word is concerned, even if we are going to talk of the husband, wife, or between the lover, beloved, this may be anywhere, in any platform. This may be live-in relations, this may be fancy and other things, or this may be short-lived relations. So why there is a relationship fatigue? You see, apart from corona, you see every day, oh, wonderful, beautiful, very rich, and I must have it. This is my cup of tea. I must marry, or we must get together. And very soon after 2-3 years, get lost. You are no good. You are deceiver. So there is a relationship fatigue. So that relationship which is on the flimsy ground, which is on the selfish ground, which is not on the give and take, which is not live and let live, which is nothing like, you see, I say the relationships of different types. See, in case we are going to see about the nature, there are 3 types of relationship. There is a parasitism, there is a symbiotic relation, and there is a commensalism. I do not want to get into detail of this, but I'll say the best is symbiotic relation. Symbiotic relation is when you're living together, 1 + 1, it becomes 2, rather 3, maybe 11 also in some case. But when you are not living in synonymity, I mean, you don't like each other in the real way, then 1 + 1 will surely not be 2. It may be more than 1, or it may be 1, or it may be -1, or it may be 0. I don't know. It is an individual word, and so it's like that. So that's what is the relationship fatigue. So we have to develop such a relation. We have come this world, and we have to live in the relation. And from the relations only, we are going to have each and everything as far as our life is concerned, language is concerned, ego is concerned, as for choices is concerned, our gratification is concerned. So these relationships need to be taken not casually, but vigilantly, right? Don't just get carried away and form a relation quickly. May it be with money, may it be with prestige. Go slow, hang on. See the pros and cons, and then move the steps. Then you asked about the artificial intelligence. So this is I'll say the present cup of tea as far as the youngsters is concerned, the whole world is concerned. There is a chat which is coming on the Google also, giving you focus type of information which you want to have. So this focus type of information is more like human-made. It is data-based. It's more like a data mining. So may it be having some sort of emotions, maybe robots working in some sort of a restaurant somewhere in the world, and it's said that they show emotions. How many emotions? So the human beings are having hundreds and thousands of emotions, just like the thoughts. So we see, as far as Hindu philosophy is concerned, there are different type of skies. One is the physical sky, which we can see, which we are made to see by the sun. To our eyes, we are limited, only 4%. Another is Chidakash. I mean, Chidakash is, which is the thought. The thoughts are as many as the sky, maybe more than sky. And likewise, even as far as our emotions are concerned, they're again more than sky. Our mindset is more than sky. So likewise, as far as the emotion is concerned, how much emotion we are going to put into the robot? Very small. So in which way the artificial intelligence is going to overcome that? But yeah, to a limit. In certain situation, it can be useful. And in that way, I can say as far as the artificial intelligence and the human or biological intelligence is concerned, or universal intelligence is concerned, or the collaborative intelligence is concerned, putting the all things together can make the things more beautiful, meaningful, useful. But as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned, I'll say as far as the medicine is concerned, I'll quote you one study, the real study, which is based on the brain hemorrhage, and something like 13 odd patients, 1300 patients were taken in, MRI was done, and they were shown the brain hemorrhage is there. And the diagnosis of brain hemorrhage were accurately done by the artificial intelligence in almost 1/4 of the time compared to the human eye. So obviously, in case we are going to plot a graph, the graph in that particular situation, the artificial intelligence take the upper lip as far as the real biological intelligence is concerned. But it's not like that. See, in case we are going to talk all those 1300 odd patients, they have missed so many things. Why there is a hemorrhage? The computer or the artificial intelligence is not going to tell. So, is there any associated other features also? Is there any small another tumor? Is this a hemorrhage inside the tumor? Or is there in some sort of blood vessel abnormality? Are there some sort of aneurysm, or where some other some sort of trauma is there? Because that particular thing has been focused as far as that particular aspect of artificial intelligence is concerned, only on that particular thing. So nothing more than that. I used to read when the computer came in, garbage in, garbage out. So likewise, as far as the intelligence, artificial intelligence is concerned, so whatsoever we feed into the machine, that gives this to us. In case I'm going to feed to the artificial intelligence, yeah, please tell me something about emotions. So they will tell something about the emotion. But in case we are going to say, going to make it more difficult, because tell me the relationship of the emotion with the characteristics of the nature, the gunas, the philosophy of Rajogun, Satagun, Tamagun. So there is going to be difficulty because no one has worked on this. No one knows about this subject in total. So that's why there is going to be a problem. So I will say the artificial intelligence is a wonderful armamentarium which has been added to the human intellect. But at the same time, I feel we should not be just going to depend upon the artificial intelligence. We are going to depend upon these cell phones, right? So this is not good. So that should be a reasonable dependency. We should not just offload our brain. Why to remember all these things once this is there in the telephone, right? Why to write anything once it is possible to just put some keys on the laptop or other things. So the handwriting is going from bad to worse. As far as the physical labor is concerned, as for the mental capacity is concerned, because we are getting dependent more and more on these gadgets. We like to put our maybe TV on or maybe AC on while moving in the car, let the thing start at the home so that we are in the cool environment as and when we reach the house. See, all these things are, I think, too much of, I'll put it as more like a laziness rather than having some sort of convenience or some, of course, because the things taken in the right perspective can be useful also. A person who is very, very tired and very busy in the office and a very hectic day and having very small time left over can take the help of these things. So the ideal mix is going to be useful. I place as far as this artificial intelligence, as far as the relationship is concerned, I'll say it's more like breaking the relations rather than making the relation. But at the same time, my statement is not true as well. Because you see what is happening, small families from joint family to nuclear family, and there is a single child who is sitting, let's say, 5,000 miles away, and you cannot talk to him, see him, but for having these this intelligence or all these things. By virtue of these 4Gs, 5Gs, we are able to talk with each other. We can talk, share emotions. Of course, this is having, it's pros and cons. Because you can see only a small part of it. You cannot see the whole of it. So one can make fool of others to fulfill one's own desire in a deceptive way, and one may not be able to see the right thing in the right perspective. So that's why I'll say there is a pros and cons. But putting all the things together, artificial intelligence along with the biological intelligence, this is going to be more useful, and even so in the relationship also. So relationship means that in case we are going to interact with each other, doesn't mean that we should continue for hours together. There should be meaningful talk, some useful talk, so for sharing some good notes with each other, rather than getting jealous of it, rather than creating some sort of disharmony in the relationship. No, definitely not.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking us deeper into the philosophy of relationships also, and the brain and the artificial intelligence specifically, since it's a upcoming
Yeah.
thing. And I'm sure we all are looking forward to read this book.
Yeah.
And as we can see, like Sir has explained, um, in this book, brain, mind, these are very simply explained and very deeply, structurally and deeply categorized. And also the relationships, how the working of our brain is associated with the quality of our relationships. There is something called relationship fatigue, which we can work through. And the artificial intelligence, how these new robotic things, they are going to impact our emotions and our relationships. So this is really going to be interesting to read this book. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers. Great.